Hello, everybody. Welcome to Little Steps Live. Here we go, round two. We are recording across 3 different cities today, and this is a very special Facebook Live because this is shared with a few colleagues from Little Steps. We have Carrie over in KL, Steph in Singapore, and myself in Hong Kong. And we all work at Little Steps, and you're going to hear a little bit about us personally. But today we have a special live chat today. It's been a really wild year, 2020, and certainly we hear a lot about COVID-19 on the news in the various cities, KL, Hong Kong, Singapore. We hear about the quarantines, we hear about the lockdowns. And today we wanted to give you a little bit more insight from parents living in those cities, and also just a little bit of insight about parenting in those life balance, and just a few, maybe some tips as well about how our kids are coping and enjoying despite this wild time of change. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and get started? I want to introduce you to a few of my Little Steps colleagues. We have Carrie and KL. Carrie, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay. Yeah, I'm Carrie. I've lived in KL for almost 6 years. And I have two little boys. I have a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. So I stay nice and busy.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. And I have my husband, which could be considered another child, depending on the day.
And so you've been in KL throughout the whole change of COVID-19, or you took a trip back, didn't you?
No, we've been here. We've been in KL.
Okay. Yep. Got it. Okay. So yes, we'll hear a little bit more about that. Steph, you're over in Singapore. That's it looks like you guys are opening up a little bit more and more. So maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been at Little Steps for many years now. You grew up in Singapore. Maybe just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I grew up here. I have 2 kids. So one is 8. So my girl is 8 and my boy is 5. So also full on right now. And they're back in school, but still, yeah. I mean, pretty busy every single day. Yeah, throughout this whole time. So it's great that it's opening up. So they have more things to do now. So yeah, things have been okay, I guess, so far. All good.
All good. And over here in Hong Kong, I'm Shay. I'm the founder of Little Steps, and been living here for almost 14 years now, which is a bit bananas. But yeah, we are in the process of experiencing the third wave, as you've probably seen from the news. So yeah, we'll chat a little bit about that. But yeah, this year's kept us on our toes, both from a work perspective, a personal perspective, a parenting perspective. So I just want to have just a casual chat. Readers, listeners, feel free to ask your questions along the way as well. A few reminders before we get into more of the interview. So Little Steps, we do go live usually 2 to 3 times a month. This month we're going live twice. Next week we're going to have a similar conversation in terms of an internal virtual interview. It will be with university students to hear about what their take is on the changes around 2020 and just university life, working virtually and learning virtually as well. Just also a note on the newsletters. Make sure you sign up for our newsletters. We have a lot of great information in those newsletters about things to do both during lockdown, the different waves, but also as you're getting out and about and exploring the city as things open up. I think we have a little bit of sound there. I don't know if that's a truck moving in the background. We're coping. You guys hear that? There we go. So I just want to go ahead and get started in terms of giving the inside scoop on what's happening in your city right now in relation to COVID-19, where you are with the with just life in terms of is it opening up? Are you going outside? Is it on lockdown? What is happening in your cities? So maybe Carrie, do you want to tell us what's going on over in KL?
Sure. KL is feeling more and more like normal. The other day, I got stuck in traffic, which hasn't happened in forever. It was kind of welcome, actually. But most stores are open, play places just opened, schools. I think all ages are now open. There's still check-ins everywhere you go, so there's still some remnants of the lockdown. And technically, we're still on the movement control order, but things are slowly getting back to normal.
And so what kind of things were, I guess, in the lockdown? What were some of the requirements that you saw? How locked down were you over in KL?
We were pretty locked down. The first, I'd say like month and a half, we couldn't leave our homes. Like I said, I have two small children, so we had to get pretty creative. So we let them play in the hall at our condo, but other than that, they couldn't leave the house. We couldn't go beyond 10 kilometers to get groceries, only one person at a time. We couldn't walk around outside. It was pretty tight. And then since then, it's just slowly things have opened up more and more.
Yeah. So when you say it's opened up now, what is kind of a typical, like, so can you go to the grocery store? Can you go to the pool? What kind of things can you do with your kids now in the city?
Yes. I could take my kids to the grocery store if I want to. If I don't know if I want to, but I can. Our pool is open again. Play places have just started opening. So like the little playgrounds in the mall and stuff, those are starting to open. I don't think like park playgrounds have opened yet. I'm pretty sure not. I don't think the public pools and splash pads have all opened. But like our condo pool is open.
So you've got that at least.
We have that, yes.
Excellent. And Steph, how's it going over in Singapore?
Okay, it's much better now. So yeah, things are opening up. I'm not liking the crowd. It's actually so crowded now.
It's crowded now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, during the lockdown, it was.
Where are you going? Is it crowded just?
Oh, it doesn't everywhere. So it doesn't really matter now. So along the roads anywhere. So now it's like traffic back to normal. Yeah. So in a way, I'm missing the lockdown time where there was nobody around. It was so peaceful, frankly. Yeah. It's a good and bad, I guess. But okay, I think things are better. So parks and all that are open. So at least outdoor stuff. So we've been doing that quite a bit. Because I think the kids are okay with being indoors, but after a while I just need them to expend their energy. They just need to run around, even at like, the closest playgrounds and all. But it's not too bad.
So you do more outdoor activities? Are you combining it with some indoor activities as well, or is it mostly outdoors?
I think for now mainly outdoors because we haven't been out for a while, and all the zoos are open now, and so people have been like flogging and stuff. But yeah, so all the check-ins
open.
The
spas
are
open.
Spas are open.
Hotels are open for staycations.
Yeah, hotels are open for some. Yeah, so but a lot of places are booked up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So even the restaurants and all that. But they close pretty early now. So I mean, all the timings have changed. Yeah.
And how big are the crowds at the restaurants? Is there any measures on that over in Singapore?
They only allow, so per table, you're only allowed to have 5 at one go. So you have to be in a group of 5, and that's your maximum. So even when like friends, you go and visit, or friends come and visit you, so the maximum number is 5.
Yeah. Number is 5. Okay. And then Carrie, is it similar in KL or?
It is, yeah, it's similar. They have like every other seat blocked off. I think there's a maximum. I think it might be 8, but don't quote me on that. Yeah.
Good quotes here.
Yeah.
Well, over in Hong Kong, as you guys know, there's the third wave going on, which I would say we had the first wave come in. A lot of expats left for Chinese New Year, and then a lot more people left. And then that second wave was everybody kind of coming back. But Hong Kong's done a very good job in containing it. I mean, it's been a lot of strict rules, and then we had a moment where we all kind of breathed. I think that's kind of where you guys are right now, where you need to go get your nails done for the first time in months, and you need to go just go outside and enjoy some beach and swimming and that kind of stuff. so I think we were all very grateful to have that moment, and even in many cases, you got a little bit of school as well, which was fantastic. After Hong Kong was one of the first places where homeschooling went into force. And so we were also one of the first ones to come back out of it. So we did get a couple of weeks of relief, I would say, and a little bit of normalcy before the summer months. And then I think we moved into booking up camps and planning staycations and all that. And then this third wave has hit, which is kind of throwing everybody a little bit off. But Hong Kong is, I think, it's similar to many of the Asian countries. Is people do listen to rules for the most part. Mask wearing is mandatory. We've got some new things coming in this week because we continue to grow in numbers. So now we've got the mask wearing mandatory, both outdoor as well as indoor venues, all the shopping malls and all that. But I'd say most people are doing that anyway. Many people are moving back to work. So I think we got to a point where we were kind of back in the office, but we are now, for the most part, working from home. And then recently, the beaches, the libraries, museums, everything has closed up again. And it's been an interesting one because you would go out to the beaches, and while they're closed, a lot of people were still going to the beaches. But I think the government now is really stepping it up and making sure that there's some barricades up and policing it a little bit more is what I hear anyway. But yeah, I think everybody's now just kind of talking about, is school going to start again? So what's the deal over where you are? What are the rumors? Is school going to be going back?
Yeah, school's back now. I guess for a while. Well, no word about it closing or anything. So it's here to stay for here.
Yeah. And then Carrie is you've got national schools and the local schools, so the timings are different for each of the cities. But
yes, that's true. All schools can open. I know the schools that are on the British calendar, I think it's their summer break anyway, so they're not in school. But all schools can be open.
Okay, so we're still a bit up in the air over here. We know that it's not going to start until late August right now, but there's not been any other announcements along those lines. But I think we're all well trained in homeschooling, so we'll see what happens.
Whether you wanted it or not.
We'll have to do one of these videos in a couple of weeks. Let's see how that goes. So it'll be a different style, I'm sure. I think we're preparing for that. I think mentally preparing for that. So just before we move on, I was just going to ask: is there any questions from any of the parents for any of the colleagues over in Singapore, Hong Kong, KL? Before I move on. All right, I think we're going to move on then. I wanted to just touch on working from home. So I know this is all over the place. I mean, there's a lot of stress out there. I think one of the things in Asia that you see in a lot of households is there is a lot more help in Asia, which I'm super, super thankful for. Compared to a lot of my friends in the USA, for example, that don't have that luxury of affordable help, in many cases. But what would you say is in terms of work-life balance, or do you have any tips around that? It is a struggle. It's hard having kids around the house and trying to write articles and do research But what's been your coping mechanisms?
For me, it hasn't been a ton different, just because I have little ones that are always with me anyways. I would say, if anything, the lockdown was almost a little easier because my husband was around. And so he could take the kids for a little bit and I could have some space to write. But I think the biggest tips I can give are to just cut yourself some slack, give yourself some grace, because this is very unprecedented times and we're all just struggling through it, trying to figure out how best to parent and to work at home. And then also I have found that organizing my life has been so helpful. So meal planning and writing lists and coming up with a cleaning schedule. So then I can somewhat compartmentalize work and homemaking and being a wife and being a mom.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good tip. Do you think that after everything goes back to normal one day out there, will you keep some of these habits in place? I mean, there's probably some
For
learning.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. My personality is more just like fly by the seat of my pants, but I have found that having a little structure in our lives is super helpful. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Steph, how's it going over there? It's work-life
Yeah.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working from home. I mean, all the while anyway. So with the kids at home, I think the key thing is, I guess getting your routine, like throughout the whole
Yeah.
day. Even though I think it's true, you have to cut yourself some slack. I mean, in between, something is going to go wrong somewhere. But
Yeah.
I think it has been pretty good to spend that amount of time with them, and for
Right.
them to know that that particular routine and the schedule that they need, like throughout the whole week, and slowly but surely they'll follow it, and well, it's like that. But the days go by really fast, though,
They go by
because
fast.
yeah, they and before you know it, it's like, oh no, it's bedtime. But I'm so glad when they go to bed, and I'm like, oh no, I can finally do some work and yeah, relax for a bit, have a glass
Yeah.
of wine for a bit,
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah, but I think a routine is really important. I mean, no
Yeah.
matter how much you're not may or may not stick to it, or if anything were to happen, but I think you have to set something up for your sanity. Like,
Yeah.
just have to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the kids will cope. I think they are way more adaptable than we are.
I think these kids are
Hmm.
way prepared for
Yeah,
all uncertainty than we are. We like to have
exactly.
structure, more planned. They're
Yeah,
kind of they're just rolling.
just like yeah,
They actually have a lot to teach us.
Yeah, it's
they
true.
have they're like having a time of their lives. I mean, like a lot of times they don't even want to go back to school. They'll just rather be at home and
Yes.
just doing
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah. No, there's definitely some perks they're seeing, but with their resilience because it is, and we'll talk about that a bit more. Um,
yeah,
I'd say over in Hong Kong, it did take a while to get into the routine of work, and I think it's all about prioritizing. Like I just
yeah,
found, like at the beginning of the year, I had all these great plans and innovations and all these things that we were going to roll out and do, and then we had to really focus in on the priorities of what
yeah,
day to day look like, and we had a big change in the content. I remember at Little Steps as well, because everything that we plan out for these 6 months
yeah,
got thrown out
yeah,
the window, and we had to start over. But it's also, I think, it gives a bit of energy to the businesses as well to pivot and to figure out how to change and adapt and update. I'd say my work life balance. I'd say one of the blessings with Little Steps is we've always worked a bit like this. We've always
yeah,
had kids in the house and running around, and the team. We work with. We don't go into the office regularly like a lot of businesses. We do a lot virtually as it was. So we were set up for those changes. But yeah, I think it was nice to kind of have some more face time with certainly getting back to the office a couple of times just to see the team and reconnecting. People like to reconnect. So yeah, and I say personally, I definitely take a moment every morning to go to the rooftop and just have a little. It could be exercise, it could just be a tea,
yeah,
it could be
yes,
writing in the journal, just having like a space before the day starts has
yeah,
been, I think, just a critical part of my routine to just kind of ground myself before kind of starting the day. I don't
yeah,
think I did that very well before, but now that there is a little bit less commuting, here and there, you do get a few moments for space if you do want to take them. So,
yeah, yeah,
all right, so let's get going on the kids side of things.
yeah.
So remind me again the ages of your kids, so we can just get a little bit. So Carrie, you've got little ones.
Yeah, I have a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old.
18 months, 3 and 18. So little people.
Little.
Both boys, both with plenty of energy.
Steph, how old are yours now? They're
8
growing
and
up.
5. I know.
3.
8 and 5.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
So mine are a bit older. They're 8 and 10. So yeah, we've kind of got all different ages here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talked a little bit about how the kids are coping, but it'd be interesting to understand from the different ages how the kids are coping. I mean, I guess they are getting more parent time across the board. There's a lot more family dinners and lunches going on than there ever have been.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of perks in that, and I do think the kids are benefiting. But maybe a little bit of insight in terms of how the kids are doing with all these changes. Steph, you wanna tell us about your age kids, how they're doing?
It seems like normal to them. I don't know. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like there's any change, frankly, apart from the
Yeah.
fact that, yeah, it comes so naturally to them. Like the minute they walk out of the house, they have to like put on a mask and that's it. And then they
Yeah.
just go about. And I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't seem to be like affecting them in any way, frankly. I
Yeah.
mean, it is a bit tedious for them to remember to always wash their hands and always wash with
Yes.
soap and and things like that. But other than
Yeah.
that, I think they're doing really well, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really adapting well, and it's quite amazing how on the first day of school, when all of them went back, and they had to put on their mask like throughout the whole day, except the
That was
time
a
when they're
big
like,
deal. Yeah. That
I
was a big
know. So I mean, and I mean they seem to be okay with it. I mean, they seem to be doing pretty well. I asked them about it when they came back, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So the 8-year-old has like longer hours in school. So,
Yeah.
she has to wear the mask, and then they even have a shield and things like that when they eat. So, but they seem okay. I mean, they're pretty happy
Yeah.
to see their friends and all.
Yes.
So I think
Yeah.
they're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about yours, Terry? The little
It was
one?
a little more of an adjustment for mine. They they
They're
were very
younger.
used to, yeah, and I mean it's very hard to explain a
Yeah.
pandemic to an 18-month-old.
Yeah.
But they were very used to going outside. We would take them to the pool a lot or just out to a mall to run around. So those initial weeks when we were very locked down it was a challenge.
Yeah.
They couldn't expend their energy, and then they didn't sleep as well, and then mom and dad didn't sleep
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But now that things are getting more back to normal, um, well, one, I think they've adjusted, but then now we're also able to get them outside and let them run around a little bit, get some fresh air. So
Yeah.
they're doing well. Yeah.
Yeah. They need that, right? So,
Yes, they do.
so I would say, yeah, having slightly older kids, 8 and 10, I'd say the biggest challenge for my daughter has just been it was just not spending time with her friends. Like I think that was,
Yeah.
when you get into the tweens and teens, I think that's a big deal. But there were a lot of cool apps that were going on, and there was a lot of fun things that the kids were putting together, like virtual parties. We do virtual campouts, we did virtual dance parties. I mean, we did a lot of virtual things with friends. And there's a lot of cool apps that has made that come possible. And then I'd say my little guy, I call him my little guy, but he's 8. He's really, I think he's really benefited from the homeschooling and the just the one-on-one attention. So he's grown a lot in a lot of ways. So I think that's been all positive in that sense. But yeah, I am impressed with all the kids' resilience, because I do find that we talk about it as parents way more than they do.
Yeah.
and they're the ones that their whole life is different. It's like
Yeah.
all of our lives are different, but they're not going to school. They're not, it's a complete shift, and they're, do they even have the tools to deal with it? It's almost like you don't want to have the tools. You don't want to know what's coming up.
Yeah.
It's interesting time. So we did have just a comment I saw from Jennifer Tang. That was just more about work-life balance, and she mentioned that one of the ways that they have managed is by hiring nannies to trade off with her, I guess, mom, to work from home and also work from their businesses. I've also heard of people hiring tutors as well. For people that do need to go into the office, or that do need to, have way more space and don't have as much flexibility. So they've traded off and doing, rounds of tutorings and sharing Zoom spaces and that kind of thing. So that was just a comment from Jennifer. Thank you.
Great idea.
So
Yeah.
I just have just one more thing to kind of wrap up with, which is more of the fun finds that we have come up with to entertain our families, or things that you have done both on lockdown or outside of lockdown that you would like to share. Steph, do you want to tell us any of your fun finds that?
I think I haven't done. Oh, what have I done? I think I did way too much baking this time. It was
Okay.
just full on baking with the kids. Seriously.
Did did you get into the bread baking, the sourdough club?
All kinds, everything. It was
Did you really
pretty much-
quarantine unless you made sourdough?
Oh, I know, right? But we like, yeah.
Or did your flour go out and all that? I mean, we had a flour
Yes,
shortage.
it was
Yeah.
insane. So like the baking
Oh,
supplies,
wow.
the minute it was locked down, I mean, aside from like all the other essentials and all, like baking supply, baking essentials, it
Yeah.
was crazy. I couldn't
Yeah.
even get like plain flour was over. Couldn't get
Yes.
butter. All the
Yeah.
salted butters were on the shelf, but unsalted was
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And you had to get from, that's why we had like the baking supplies guide where you had to get it from specific stores, but they had to get you had to get it in bulk, so it had to
Yeah.
be like a 1 kg pack or 5 kg bag. So it was insane. And
It's like-
and now it's and certain stuff you still can't get, like blocks of cheese and all, just to make cheesecake. It's tough.
So what were some of the recipes that you found? Like, oh my gosh, I made it! I'm amazing.
Made all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I did like yeah, kid friendly stuff. So
Yes.
and they helped me with like pies and stuff like that. I think a lot more baking. I did
Yeah.
like tiny little science experiments with them. So they had
Okay.
like yeah, I found a lot of like homeschool stuff actually. So this is like a time where you go to all the homeschooling sites and you're like, wow, I could actually do this. All the resources like came into
Yes,
play.
they're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much stuff online. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I even like had like small little baking kits for them, so they could do like little cupcakes and all. So I think it was a lot more of this when we were in lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I can imagine.
now, yeah.
So we're coming to your house after all this shenanigans.
Yes, please. The minute you can travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary, how about you? You've got a lot of little ones that are two little ones that want to burn a lot of energy. What did you do?
Yeah. Yeah. For a while, we were like putting together these super intricate like obstacle courses in the house, and we would spend 30 minutes putting it together, and then they would play for 5, and then we would clean it up for another 30. So we stopped doing that. But we got really into sensory bins.
Yeah. That's
So just like even just
for the
something
younger
as
ones.
simple as water and maybe a little bit of like sudsy soap and like measuring cups or funnels. They just love it.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of sensory bins. And just recently I took them to a little cafe here in KL. It's called the Little Owl Kid Cafe. And they have amazing Korean food. And it's just like one big open room with tables and then like every toy imaginable in there.
Oh wow.
And so mom and dad, or I went with some friends. So me and my friends just sat and we drank our coffee and had our food and just let the kids play. And it was glorious. It was so good. And it's like reservation only right now.
Yeah.
So we made a reservation. You have 2 hours and then there's 30 minutes in between reservations. So they'll clean all of the toys, make sure it's all sanitized, and then the next people can come. But it was a good find. We enjoyed it a lot.
I love how excited we are when we actually come out
I
of
know.
lockdown about like
Yes.
I went to
It's just those little things. Yeah.
but it does sound like a really cool coffee shop. I'm sure.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It's not yet.
Yeah.
And you don't have to clean up, see, so
Yes.
always the good
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of finds, I guess, that we found helpful during lockdown. I mentioned the virtual parties. That was a big deal. Using the different apps to do the virtual dance party. The virtual camp out was quite fun. You put on the TV, you put a fireplace, and we had one of those little teepees, and then other people in other houses did the same. And so we did a virtual camp out, which was quite cool.
That's so cute.
We're doing a lot of Lego building over here. So
Yes, a lot of Lego.
in Lego. And then I'd say the online camps for my daughter, a little bit older, those have been, I think sometimes kids are too young for some of the offerings, but like my daughter's doing a really cool video online camp, and they're really keeping her engaged, and she's learning, she's taking little micro videos around the house. And so that's been quite cool. So I do think there's some really interesting online learning things out for some older kids as well. And I've heard from our interns that a lot of the university students as well, they're upping their skills, taking certification classes and online courses. A lot of the Ivy League schools are also offering some really cool online courses for adults and students. So kind of upping skills. And then I have two little finds, which I'm going to show you on the screen. Do you guys have these yet?
Oh yeah, that's right. It's the cardboard box.
No.
Virtual reality. Okay, so
No.
I picked these up at Toys R Us, and I think they're less than $20 US, but there is so much cool stuff that you can do on these things, and the kids really love them. So if you have a bit of a travel bug, you can go and visit the Maldives, for example, virtually and walk around the island. And there's, you can go to Disneyland. You can do a lot of cool learning. Like there's Exploratorium is one that you can go to these various locations and click the button and learn about the temples and the statues. So anyway, this has been a really cool find. And then this is my other one that I just love because we're spending so much time and we're trying to come up with conversations all the time is Table Topics. And this is good for like, 5, 6. Yeah. And so we just do a couple of these table topics at night just to kind of get the conversations rolling and kind of change up the day. So like if you can invent a new way to travel, what would it be? And kids as young as 4, 5, 3 can get involved in these kind of questions. So they're really fun little topics for, just kind of engaging the kids at home a bit more than the usual, so what'd you do today? Quarantine. It changes it up. Gets some new topics in the way. So anyway, those are two of my finds as well. But
I think this is the time where you end up like digging up all your old stuff, and they realize, oh, I had this. Yeah. And it ends up to be you're rehashing all the old stuff that you had, and they never realized that they had so much stuff. And now it's like newfound interest in all the old, even all the Legos, all like my Duplo sets. They are like way past Duplos, but now they're like, I really wanted to give them away, but now they're like just going back to them. So it's
upcycling.
Yeah, upcycling now.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, the other one that I'm liking is the fitness stuff, like the online fitness.
All the online ones,
all sorts of things that you can do as a family as well. So it seems like all the online fitnesses have gone into some form of family, family fitness, and there's a lot of good deals out there as well. So anyway, those are some fun finds. So is there anything else that you guys want to share before we wrap this up? Oh wait, we do have one comment from Jennifer. She said she invested in an aquaponic home garden so the kids could grow vegetables and cook them. That is such a cool idea.
Wow.
I wonder, Jennifer, where do you buy that? Is that something that you buy online?
I think you can. And in Singapore, we have this click and grow thing. It's really, you can just buy that whole, it has a light attachment and all. I think we featured it in one of our guides, I think. One of our guides or something. So you can grow all your different herbs. You can get the bigger ones, and then you can have a few. And it's so cool.
Did we see you guys at Boutiques Fair? Were they at Boutiques Fair?
I don't, maybe a long time ago, but not now. Okay. Yeah, but they did have some. Yeah. So it was like, it's a home garden thing.
Very cool. I love that idea. Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer. I'll have to figure out where you can buy these things and post them on the comments.
I'm sure it's online shopping.
Yeah.
We've all gotten very proficient in online shopping.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you so much, guys. Is there anything else you want to share with everybody? Any words of wisdom? Any inspiration? Anything that you want to end with, or shall we just wrap it up?
We're all
good. I got nothing.
Just
hang in there
and take the day at a time. And
live in the present. Yes. Live in the present. Don't think too much, because really anything
can happen.
I do like that quote that I saw. It's like, if you thought one man couldn't change the world, you hadn't met 2020. Anyway, we'll end with that. Thank you all very much. And I guess I'll see you on Slack. So signing off from the Little Steps team from Palau, Singapore, and Hong Kong. See you next time.
Bye. Bye.